Greg Moore's passion is parks. He has devoted his life to protecting parks and making them relevant and accessible for everyone, not just now, not for all of us, but for future generations. Now, I suspect that Greg started honing his visitor experience in parks at Disneyland. His summer job, senior year of high school, was as a Jungle Cruise guide at Disneyland. How many of you have been to Disneyland? And is the Jungle Cruise not one of your favorites, right? It was my favorite. Greg studied conservation at UC Berkeley and then environmental planning. And early in his career, he was a park ranger. He even married a park ranger. Parks are in his DNA and in his family, that's for sure. When Greg Moore joined the Parks Conservancy in 1987, he didn't set out to win national awards for Crissy Field or the Land's End Visitor Center or the Park Stewardship Program. He certainly didn't set out to consult with South Africa and New Zealand and Australia and China about public involvement in parks. He didn't expect to raise $300 million to support park projects and programs, or to grow from a staff of 1.5 to 350. That's the number of people in this room. But he did. His passion for parks is contagious. People love working with Greg because he's the kind of leader who brings out the best in everyone. Greg says that he went to a high school that taught him ethics, hard work, and the desire to give back. Well, there's no doubt that he's giving back. He's the executive director of the Golden Gate National Parks Conservancy, and he's giving us parks for all, forever. I'd like to introduce, and it's my great honor to introduce to you Greg Moore.
Well, with that introduction, I think I should just go back home. The Bay School mission to unlock your individual and collective potential to find your role. And you are all in the middle of that journey, a journey that I remember all the way back to my high school days in Southern California. Let me tell you a little bit about my high school. The last time I spoke to a full freshman through senior high school was when I was running for student body officer in my high school. And I finished my talk, and I thought it was pretty good. But the Monsignor, I was in a Catholic high school, very strict Catholic high school, thought my speech wasn't so good, and he called me into his office, and he told me that I had told a joke that wasn't professional and right, and I told a story he didn't like. And he told me something that I'll never forget. He said, "You used to walk on the sidewalk, then you stepped in the curb, then you moved into the gutter, and now you're washing into the sewer." And I just thought, I hope he doesn't call my parents. That was my thought. But that was my journey of discovering who I was, what it meant to be a leader, how I went. By the way, I did win the election, so whatever I said, he didn't like it, but the students did. And the experience I had at Disneyland and serving people in a Jungle Cruise, my journey to Berkeley, which couldn't have been more different than my conservative Catholic high school in Orange County, which was the most conservative place in the country at the time. My discovery of the outdoors at Berkeley, my journey as an architect and landscape architect in the degree, and then becoming a park ranger and working all over the country at many of the parks that you all mentioned. My life, as I look back now, has been a big gift, and a lot of that gift began in high school with the teachers and students and parents who cared about me and wanted to unlock my potential and unlock my role in a collective world. Here at the Golden Gate National Parks, I'm so happy you guys are in the middle of a national park. I remember when this building was empty and derelict and falling apart. I go to the YMCA and I see many of you there every day at the Presidio Y. But the thing about national parks that is a little bit like a high school, this school belongs to all of you. You are a community here, and each of you are part of the fabric of making this school work. Well, our national parks are the same. They belong to all Americans. When you step into a national park, it's yours, and it's yours with every other person in this country. Now, how many places in this country do we collectively own and care for? Not that many, really. But every national park represents the fundamental democracy of this country. If you have ever watched Ken Burns on TV, the filmmaker, he called our national parks the Declaration of Independence for the American landscape. They belong to us all. And so my life has been the gift of taking care of places that belong to everyone. So the point of all this is to suggest to all of you that in the same way I found my passion, and in high school, honestly, I had no idea where my life was going. It just one thing kind of led to the next. But when I look back, now I can put together all the pieces that led me to where I was. And while it was confusing to me, I can see now that my high school teachers, my time at Disneyland, my introduction to Yosemite National Park at Berkeley, even my dad being an Air Force pilot who landed planes at Crissy Field, who would have known that my life would one day intersect with him? All these things came together to unlock my potential, to give me opportunity to work collectively, and essentially to give me a really wonderful, fulfilling life with great people like Julie, who I've gotten to know, and all the volunteers and people that have helped me help others achieve good things for people. We are so proud that this school exists with the mission that it has, with young people like you discovering your own journey, your own life path, and your role to fulfillment. What an honor to be here, and I think I'll close there.
Thanks, Greg.